Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, in this video, I want to talk about whether men and women are equal, or is there a misunderstanding in this statement? Okay, can a woman be equal to a man? Can there be equality between the two? Well, first of all, I'd like to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just, and we are both equal in society. We are different but equal, and I want to explain how there is a difference. Now, obviously, we know that women, they give birth, they get pregnant, they give birth. A man naturally does not get pregnant and does not give birth. So there is a difference in that sense. There is a difference in the creation. However, we are judged equally. If a man sins, if a man kills, he'll get punished. A woman sins, she'll also get punished equally. There is no difference in that sense in front of in the sight of Allah. However, we all have traits and attributes, characteristics. They're natural, natural things in a man, and natural things in a woman that makes us slightly different. It does not make us inferior. A woman is not inferior to a man, and a man is not inferior. They're different, like I said, but they are equal. For example, the way a man thinks. A man is kind of like a procedural. The way he thinks, he can only focus on one thing at a time, and then he can move on to the next task and so on. He can't multitask. I mean, some men try to do that, but they'll never be successful at multitasking. Compared to a woman. So a woman more. Her mind works more in multitasking. Just exactly like as a programmer, I can tell you that there are certain times when we need the application to be multi-threaded or multitask, so that handle tasks at the same time. And at times it's much better to implement in some applications where the application would sort of execute one task and then complete that task and then move on to the next task. So it depends on the application. You will then use whether you will have something that's more procedural or more linear in the way that it processes tasks. And then there are certain times where the application requires, certain functionality of the application would require some sort of a multitasking implementation. So it does not mean that this is a better approach than the next. We need both for the whole application. Okay, so certain parts of the application would have certain aspects would be multitasked, and certain parts of the application would be procedural or linear in the way that it processes or executes the task. Likewise, human beings, we are different in the sense that the woman, she's better at multitasking. And then a man is better at more procedural approach to things. Finish one task and then move on to the next, and likewise. Together they are a formidable force. They pretty much complete each other. So before I start, I need to explain to you, if you're a Muslim, you know already the story of Adam and his partner. Also they call her Hawa, or the Christians, they say Eve, and there is no mention. I didn't see a mention of her name, anyways. But let's just say her name is Eve for now, for just understanding. So Adam, the male, and Eve, the female. And the way Allah created, first He created Adam, and then from Adam, from his rib cage nearest to his heart, He fashioned Hawa, the female partner for Adam, and she was his partner and his companion in paradise. Okay, so the place where he fashioned Hawa from, or Eve, is the closest area to the heart, to the man, which is a bit symbolic to justify or to kind of illustrate to us that a woman has to be very close to the heart. So she's more of an emotional being. She has emotional intelligence, and also a man protects her. So he wraps his arms around her. She's under his protection. So she finds peace in the protection of her partner, her male partner, and also he has to be very emotional and very compassionate and lenient, kind of like treats her with love and respect and so on. So this is the position. He did not create the woman from the feet of the man, so she's not like his servant, and he didn't create her from the head. So she's above his head or on top of his head. Okay, so she has to be very close to his heart, under his protection and so on. And the man is the protector of the woman. The man is not complete without a woman. Okay, so I'm not saying that a single man or a single woman cannot survive and they will die without the other opposite sex. But what I am saying that they together, they can achieve wonders. They can achieve, they can create miracles basically if they unite together. Of course, under they're married, and obviously in halal way, they're united in halal way, and they respect and they are faithful to each other. Of course, it's not always the case. You might have bad experience. I've had bad experience myself in my life, but there are some people that are like, you got gold diggers, or you've got people that are in relationships for certain benefits or certain gains. So that's obviously not going to be a successful relationship. But assuming the best and expecting the best from the other, and let's just say that a man who's sincere in a relationship and a woman who's sincere in a relationship, and if they're united for a particular cause, they can achieve the impossible. Okay, and likewise, I did read a book many years ago when I was a young man. It was called the Millionaire's Mind, and one of the highest ranks reasons for their financial success was their partner. So when they are, there's a partner with a girlfriend or a wife and so on, they attributed that success, they've achieved that success because of their partner. And the vast majority of people that are self-made millionaires, they've all are in relationships or they were in a relationship at the point when they started the business, and they've succeeded. It's less likely or less opportunity for single people. So yeah, there are a few odd single person, single man or single woman that did achieve financial success. However, it's a very small number compared to the vast majority who were partners in the business, like a male and female, or even two brothers. When the two brothers, they did succeed. We can see Elon Musk and his brother, they became very successful. But the vast majority of people predominantly were a man and his wife, and together they achieved great success and happiness and happy family and so on when they work on that one common cause. Now I want to address another point as well, and it's a misunderstanding, because I've traveled different countries in the past, and like in North Africa, and I don't want to mention any particular country, but predominantly in North Africa, where I did visit families and I seen they mistreat their daughters or their wife and so on, and the way they kind of like devalue the woman. So they will maybe invest, or they will contribute to the education for their sons, or male, or it's like if it's a boy, then they kind of celebrate that and they kind of welcome a boy being born, and they would invest in his education. They would spoil him, give him more financial aid for his education and success in life. And the woman, she kind of like they take her out of school at a very young age. Like education is not very important for, if you're a girl, it's not important, because ultimately at the end of the day they see it as she'll get married and then she would just cook and clean and that kind of stuff. And I just like to basically reiterate that this is not from Islam. In fact, it's actually recommended. Education for a woman is far more recommended for a woman than just a man. I'm not saying men shouldn't get men should get educated, but if you educate a woman and give her the opportunity to learn and study, you're educating a nation, because she is the mother. When she becomes a mother, she educates her children. If you have an ignorant or someone that's it's not educated, you tend to find that generation. I mean, there are odd times where you get educated children and stuff and rightly guided children, but most of the time you'll get children that they go astray. They become also ignorant and stuff, irrespective of the father, who might be a professional and he might have graduated from university. If the woman hasn't graduated from university, or the wife hasn't graduated, and she's not educated to that level, you also find the children are kind of a bit lost. That's what I've seen from my experience, and they kind of get confused in life, and maybe they'll go off the rail and that stuff. And also, importantly, of course, the religious side. If she's not educated in Islam and she doesn't know anything about Islam and so on, even if the father does, the men are usually very strict. There are some good fathers and stuff, but let's just say, fathers that they're stressed at work and they come home, and then maybe the children want to learn about Islam, or they ask them certain questions, who's God, and who's Jesus, and who's this and who's that, and they have all these questions, and the father might not have the patience to give them knowledge or answer their questions. Now, if the wife, she hasn't got any knowledge in Islam and she can't answer the questions, then vast majority of times the children, when they grow up, they will become non-Muslims, or they'll leave Islam, or unless Allah also blesses them and guides them into Islam, that's a different scenario. But the vast majority, they kind of lose that inquiry and that kind of stuff. If you keep telling your children not to ask questions and you silence them, eventually they'll be scared to ask questions. Especially if you don't address these questions in a gentle way and you give them convincing answers, they'll lose that interest in finding out answers to these questions, and they're not going to be very smart in the future, because you need a thinking mind to learn. Whether it's any knowledge, you need this mind to be thinking all the time. And women, they have the ability to educate the children far better than men, so they are better when they're educating children, and as a mother, and gently and kindly and that kind of stuff, and they can handle a lot of different multiple questions at the same time. So they can handle two children who ask them different questions, and they can, like I said before, they have the mind to multitask and listen and think and process things much quicker than a man. 2-3 questions at the same time, they can process it much quicker in their mind than a man. A man likes the things to be more linear. Let's deal with one issue, and then let's talk about the second issue, and then once we finish that, we'll go to the third. So they kind of approach things in that way, and they get confused if they get bombarded with different tasks at the same time. They kind of break down, they can't function properly. So yeah, obviously there are different men at different abilities, but I'm just saying, vast majority of women, they multitask better than a man, and a man thinks more procedurally in sequence better than a woman. He likes things to be in that way. And of course, physically, there is a difference. There is a difference in physical power. Men, they have testosterone. They can develop muscles. They can bodybuild. They can stuff like that. Obviously, women also are doing. They get into bodybuilding and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, vast majority, if you get a man that's working out and stuff, he'll build muscles a lot quicker. He'll become stronger, and so on. Yeah. So I'm not just saying a woman can't beat a man in a fight, but I'm just saying, if you have equal situation and the man is working out, getting involved in physical activity, they tend to develop much quicker, develop muscles because of the hormones, because of the way they're built. And that's the characteristic of a man, is to become that. And it's also important that Allah has given us these roles and responsibilities for each of us. It's not that a woman is inferior than a man, or the man is superior, but like I said before in the beginning, men and women are equal, but they are different. Okay, they have different roles and responsibilities prescribed to us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should follow that. We should follow what Allah has prescribed for us. he did not subscribe to the woman to cook and clean. That's not the case. I mean, this is a misunderstanding again, because even the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ helped his wives to, in housework. He helped his wives in different various things. However, there are certain roles and responsibility on the man which isn't on the woman. It's optional. I should say optional for a woman, but it's obligatory on the man. For example, a man, is obligatory for him that he protect his wife. He, if someone comes to attack the house, he cannot run away. He cannot be a coward. He has to fight and die protecting his wife and his family. That's his roles and responsibility. He also has to provide for the family. He cannot ask his wife for support, financial support. He cannot borrow money from, you have to donate or you have to contribute half towards the cost. No, he has full obligation to provide, to feed, to clothe, to pay all the bills, to work, to earn the income. And then on the woman's side, she hasn't got that obligation. If she chooses to work, if she chooses to earn an income, that income is 100% hers. It becomes optional for her now at this point, whether she wants to contribute to the children, contribute to the household or not. It's an optional thing. She will not be judged. Oh, there was a £1,000 bill. You did not pay towards that. None of that nonsense. No, her money is her money. If she inherits money, that money is 100% hers. They cannot take it away. Likewise for the children, if money is given to the children as a gift or anything like that, inherit it, parents cannot take it away from them. It's haram for them to take it away, because that's their income, that's their money. The children, money is theirs. So if someone gives them money or they've done something, parents cannot exploit them. I know parents, they exploit their children, and they basically they use them as a way to create revenue, basically, and they take the money and they say, well, we're providing for you, and we're feeding you and so on. So they use it as some sort of a way of a money making thing. So unfortunately, there are these elements as well that exist in society, but I'm not saying that any money that's for the children is theirs. Parents cannot touch it. They can protect that money until they reach a mature age and know how to spend the money, and they understand exactly how it works. They can protect the money, but they cannot spend from that money. And the father is responsible 100% for the household in that sense, so that the man is responsible for that. The woman, if the woman earns income, that money is 100% hers. She's not, and the man cannot ask the woman, contribute towards the cost. He's not allowed to do that. And if she decides to contribute out of her own free will, then it's up to her. She'll get a reward, and he should also thank her. She say, Jazakallah kulli khair, thank you for helping me out, because she obviously can see the situation that they're in, and maybe she can contribute towards it. That's optional for her, and he has to thank her. She's doing him a favor. It's not her obligation to support the family in that case, because that money is 100% hers. And this is the way Allah is just. So in certain situations, there is you might see conditions like inheritance and whatever, and you might say, okay, that's unfair. Why is it in this situation that the man gets this percentage of the inheritance in this scenario, and the woman's getting less here? But in a different scenario, the woman's getting 100%, the man's not getting anything at all. So you have to understand that the law is very just. The way Allah is given us, prescribed for us, the laws between a man and a woman, and what the rights are and stuff like that, it's very just and very equal. But you have to understand, you have to see the bigger picture of exactly how it's implemented. For example, in the situation of a man, he's got greater responsibility. He's got responsibility for the household and so on. And then in the case of the woman, if she gets to earn anything, she gets to keep 100%. But then in a certain situation where there's inheritance, like for example, there's two brothers and a sister, in that situation, and the parents die and they inherit something, the percentage or the distribution of the inheritance is different. The men will get slightly more than the woman, because obviously especially if they're married, they have a greater responsibility on that. And also they have a responsibility on their sisters, so their siblings, the female siblings, they have a responsibility as well. So they have to manage that capital in that situation. And this is not to say that women cannot manage money and the men can manage money. It's not that at all. But the laws of Allah is very just, and if you understand it, and if you study the Sharia and get the bigger picture, you actually see that it's very, very just, and it's very, very fair, and it gives women more rights to them than what actually exists today in 2022. So this is very just, and that's why amongst the most highest percentage of reverts are women, because they see that they get more rights, more justice in Islam than outside Islam. And it's the non-Muslims and the people and the countries that are implementing any secular system, they need to look at Islam and learn from it, because that's when you will get equal rights, human rights, animal rights, all kind of rights. You will find it in Islam from the Quran. And like I said to you before in all other videos, Islam is a complete way of life since the beginning of creation. So which means that this message of La ilaha illallah, worship, there's no one worthy of worship except Allah, the one true God, Allah, and the messenger Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, and Musa and Isa and all these prophets, they all proclaimed the same declaration of faith, and they ordered their followers to declare La ilaha illallah and their messenger. That if it's the time of Moses, it was La ilaha illallah, Musa Rasulullah. If it was the time of Isa, he was sent to the Bani Israel, he was a Jew, and he was sent to the children of the lost tribe of Israel, and he was inviting them also, go back to Islam, go back and implement the correct Sharia, do not take things to the extreme. He also told them La ilaha illallah, Isa Rasulullah. He did not say I am son of God, astaghfirullah, or any nonsense like that. According to the gospel, he said La ilaha illallah, and he then ordered his followers to say the same thing, and he prayed as a Muslim as well. He bowed in the Garden of Gethsemane onto the ground, put his head on the ground just like a Muslims pray, and he said, I by my own will can do nothing. I by the will of Allah, I by the will of you can heal the born blind and leopard. I by your will can heal, bring back the dead. I can do this. All these miracles, he said, I cannot do anything without the will of Allah, inshallah, according to the Quran, and only not according to the gospel of Jesus in the New Testament. You will see this in the Torah as well. There are so many signs, so much evidence, that I find it just I don't know, I'm just completely amazed how anyone can read this, the ancient scriptures. They can read the Torah, they can read the gospel, they can read the Bible, and not end up as Muslims. I get surprised at that. Of course, there are some people that do, alhamdulillah, barakallah fihum, and they have made the best trade and the best successful transaction in their life, because they will inshallah achieve the true success in akhirah. But at the same time, I get surprised that people know this and they can recognize all the signs, and yet they don't revert. So this topic here, I don't want to go too far away, but I always like to give a little extra when I'm talking. Really this purpose of this video is to talk about women and the importance that they should be educated. They should be given the rights for education, just like men are given the opportunity. And I know in the UK it's not that case, but in secular countries, yes, they see things as equal and everything, and women have the right for education and stuff. But I'm talking about in the third world countries, I'm talking about in the Middle East, I'm talking about in North Africa. They also need to study Islam. Even they are Muslims, but they need to go back into the Quran, back into the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and start implementing that, and encourage their children, whether they're a male or female, to education. Education is very important. It's the first order, or the first word that came down to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu by the Archangel Gabriel, and he told him, read, recite, proclaim, teach. And women are an important component for the success of the community, and therefore they have the right for education, and they should understand that their value is not just their body. I did watch something. It was created by it's a channel. It's a non-Muslim channel. They do podcasts and stuff like that. And they had a Saudi girl on that channel, and she was wearing, you know, like bikini, like very short, skimpy outfit and stuff, and amongst other women. And she was saying that, you know, she's left Saudi Arabia, oppressive regime and stuff, and she's been liberated. She went to the US, and now she does porn. You know, it's like on OnlyFans and stuff like that. Stuff for a lot. And she was saying that this is empowering her and it's liberating her and stuff, because she's, you know, showing off her assets basically. So she sees her value as her body. Her body is her asset, and that is what she's offering. And she came obviously from a regime and stuff which is maybe very oppressive. Maybe they're not implementing Islam, although they're supposed to be a Muslim country and they're supposed to be you know, implementing the Quran and the Sunnah and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it's not the case. The government is different than what the reality is, and I'm sad to say that there isn't any country in the world that is so-called Islamic country. No country is actually implementing Islam to the full extent, and it tells us in the Quran very clearly that if we decide to embrace Islam, we should take it completely. You know, ادخلوا في السلم كافة ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان. Take Islam completely, take Islam as a complete way of life, and do not follow the footsteps of Shaitan, Iblis. Okay? So this is the order from Allah, the creator of the heaven and the earth. And He told us that we should take Islam completely. We cannot pick and choose parts. We cannot say, okay, we like this bit and we'll leave this bit. We'll implement, you know, family values, you know, respect your parents and all that stuff. It's all nice and stuff. But at the same time, we don't like the part where we implement the Islamic economic system, the political system, the social system, the legal. You cannot pick and choose. You have to take Islam as a whole. Okay, so therefore you might not see equal rights for men and women and all that stuff in so-called Islamic countries, but that isn't because of Islam. It's not because of what's in the Quran, what's in the saying of the Prophet ﷺ. It is because of the way that it's implemented. It's a really bad example from so-called Muslims. That is what you should point your finger about. If you go back to the source, you always find that Allah is very just, and He gives us the best prescription to have a very successful, peaceful, easy life in this world, and the methodology to gain ultimate success in Akhirah, which is in paradise for eternity. Okay, so He gives us that prescription, and it's up to us to implement. We have the free will to choose or refuse, to submit our will to the will of the Creator. Okay, so unfortunately, a lot of us, you know, we are born Muslims, or we inherited Islam because our parents are Muslims, so we inherited it, but we didn't understand. We didn't ask the question, why are we Muslim? You know, why are we created? What's our purpose in life? We need to revive this constantly. You know, every now and again, we need to ask ourselves, you know, what is my purpose here? What should I be doing here? Okay, why was I created? Why am I still alive? Obviously, Allah is keeping you alive for a reason. Maybe you haven't fulfilled your obligation. He's giving you this opportunity to fulfill your obligation. He wants to forgive everyone. He created us, and He doesn't want to punish us. He's looking for any reason to put us into Jannah. Allah is the most merciful, and He's given us so many. Even the worst of us on planet Earth right now, you know, they're doing all the worst things. They still have a chance for Allah to forgive them. And if anyone that's done so much evil, whether you've taken drugs, you've killed, you've done whatever you've done, any harm you've done in your life, and then you turn back to Allah, Allah not only will forgive you and wipe out all your sins, and give you a completely clean slate again, as if you're a newborn, but also He would replace all your sins into good deeds, so you would have a positive balance in your bank account. That's what it will be like. It's like you have a bank account and you're £1 million in debt, and then Allah wipes out that debt and then gives you deposits into your account, £1 million or even £10 million in your account. How just and how fair is that offer? And all you have to do is you have to turn back to Allah and have sincere remorse in your heart. And if you harm someone, just do your best to apologize and say, look, I've made a mistake and this is what I've done, and yeah, please forgive me, brother or sister, and just start a new life. And inshallah, Allah will forgive you all these things, and inshallah you will attain paradise. And this is the best I can wish for anyone watching this. So if you're not a Muslim, please, for your sake, not for my sake, and I'm not saying to you go buy a book and spend money or anything like that. It's not a business. It's for your own sake. Get a free Quran. It's not going to cost you a penny. You go to any mosque and ask them for a Quran, and gladly people will give you Qurans for free. They would love to share the knowledge with you. And just ask the questions, and take my advice. Go speak to someone that is knowledgeable. You find an imam or something like that. Go speak to him. Ask him about Islam. Ask him why do Muslims believe in this? Why do they say this? What's if any misunderstanding? Just say it. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to offend anyone by asking a question. You might think, okay, maybe they'll get offended and stuff. Muslims, the real true Muslims, they're the most peaceful people you ever meet in your entire life. The most peaceful people, the most kindness, the most generous. The real true Muslims, you'll find them like that. And if you approach them and you ask them certain questions, they would gladly give you the answers. They will gladly show you the true path, and you'll be amazed. Really, you'll be truly amazed at the message of Islam. It's so beautiful. When I was a teenager, I was slightly confused, and I looked at various scriptures because I wasn't really sure about the answers, and I was amazed how much evidence is in the Torah, how much evidence is in the Bible, which points to one direction, which is Islam. It's Islam throughout. I was amazed to see the word Muslim in the Bible. Jesus saying that he is a Muslim. He is saying that the religion that he's given is Islam. It's all there in black and white. Even as much as the Bible has changed and has been revised and changed, and bits and come out and things are put in, and they try to corrupt it, the powers that be, they still if you read it with an open mind, open heart, you will not but end up as Muslims. I just guarantee you that. If you're a sincere person with a pure heart, and you approach things, and you've opened the Quran, for example, and you just, even if at random page, just open a random page and start reading, just from just a random page, and just start reading, you will not but become a Muslim. I just guarantee you. If you're a sincere person, you're really seeking the truth, and you always say, Allah guide me, if you're real, please guide me, and you open the book and read, you will be amazed how beautiful the message of Islam is, and how just Allah is for a man and a woman, and for children as well. And let me add as well that women are not assets. They're not like a car or a property. So when a man marries a woman, he does not own her. Unfortunately, third world countries and so many places and so many Muslims, they still have this misunderstanding from Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance, where when a man gets married, he's bought a woman, like bought a cow, for example. That's not the case. A woman is a gift to the man, and the man is a gift to the woman, and it's a precious gift from Allah, from the Creator. Allah created the man as a gift for the woman, and He created the woman as a gift for the man. It's a gift from the Creator. So imagine, such an amazing gift that you're getting from the Creator, the one that created me and you, that created everything, and He's given you a gift. How much would you look after that gift? How kind could you? I mean, you'd be like, wow. Imagine someone like a king or a queen or something, and they meet you and they give you a piece of jewelry or something, and they autograph an album, someone famous, and you'll be like, wow, this is such a precious gift, and you will look after it. You wouldn't even allow other people to touch it because it's so valuable. You don't want something to get damaged, that precious gift to get damaged. You look after it. The same, likewise. Now imagine the Creator, not any individual on earth, not someone famous or a celebrity or whatever giving you a gift. No, the Creator of the heavens and earth is giving you a gift. So how much you should protect it, treasure it, and respect it, and be kind and gentle with it. Okay. Now, that's having said that, of course, there are certain people that you should, if a woman is being disobedient and she's obviously cheating and being unfaithful and stuff, you're not going to treat her with nicely and just be, hello my wife, would you like me to make a cup of tea while you commit zina? You're not going to do that. Obviously you're going to divorce her, you're going to end the relationship. I'm not saying go to that extreme, but I'm saying the decent women, the pious women that Allah gifts you with in your life, and He makes you a husband to and you're married and stuff, then you should always look after her. Okay, in that case you should respect her. And likewise, the woman should not overburden the man, and she should respect him and value him, because he is also a gift from Allah, and she should not try to exploit him. And I've seen relationships that are failing, or difficult relationships where with two people where the wife is constantly putting a huge burden on her husband. He's only earning a certain income, and she's putting a huge burden because she wants to go on holidays, she wants jewelry, she wants materialistic things. She's always comparing him to his another friend of hers and her husband, and he's got this car and he's got this property and he's richer, and she's putting that pressure on her husband to also give her all these materialistic needs. These are very materialistic women, and unfortunately this brother is struggling to fulfill and to maintain the relationship. But yeah, I cannot speak for him. I cannot tell him, this woman, you shouldn't have married her and stuff. This is up to him, and may Allah give her hidayah, because she's a bad example for the children as well, because she's also showing her children that this life is all about materialistic gain and exploitation and so on. And unfortunately these are the ignorant type of women, and they are bad role models. On the other side, if you have an educated woman, if this girl or this woman was educated, she would not be like that. She would understand the value of the man and her husband, and she would not overburden him. She would try to support him in any way she can, and at least keep positive. And just a bit of word of advice: you should always look at the people below you, not the people above you. You should not look at how someone else is richer than you and how what car they're driving and stuff like that. Just look at yourself and look at the people that are less fortunate than you. You've got a car, say alhamdulillah. You've got a house, say alhamdulillah. There are people that are living on the street. There are people in third world countries that don't even have anything to even drink. They don't even have water. They have days to live. They haven't got even clean water, and you're blessed with clean water that's coming through your tap, or at least you can go out and buy some mineral water. So you had the opportunity. They don't even have that. So be grateful for what Allah's given you, and strive to be better, not just so you can become financially more rich or have luxuries around you, but so you can become a better service to mankind. Give a better life for the whole of mankind, not just your children. Have a bigger goal than yourself. Don't think about just the size of your shoes, man. Think about something, a greater purpose than what you're thinking about. Okay, I want to just have a car, or I want to upgrade my iPhone, I want to get the latest iPhone. This is all so trivial, so immature. I know a lot of people think like that, but this is such an immature. Why not think about doing something for someone that's someone's suffering somewhere on the other side of the world? Why not contribute towards that? Why not contribute towards an orphan? Why not contribute towards a right cause that's going to benefit mankind, which is going to actually add value to you once you leave this world? It's going to become a perpetual charity for you. It's going to add to your good deeds. Why not start investing from today in your akhirah? This is what I'm telling you to do, not to think about all these materialistic things, because all these things eventually will become old. You'll be like a rat race. You'll be constantly chasing for the next big hype, next big thing, and it's not going to benefit you, and none of this is going to add to your good deeds in akhirah. And at the end of the day, you're not going to take it with you. You don't know when you're going to die. I don't know when I'm going to die. Maybe I'm going to die after an hour. I don't know, Allahu A'lam. But none of this is going to come with me. I'm not going to take anything with me. But whatever knowledge I've shared, whatever I've given, that can potentially, inshallah, add value. But this is it. We don't know where we're going to go. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know if I'm going to go to heaven or hell. I wish and I pray, inshallah, Allah, through His mercy, can forgive me, and through His mercy make me amongst those who are in Jannah, inshallah. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to become of me. And I don't know what's going to become of anyone. Yeah, only Allah is the one that can, He's the judge. He can judge anyone, and He is the one that will, permit certain people to Jannah, and certain people are not going. Even if you're someone that has prayed all their life, and done so much, and you're fasting every single day, and you're doing tahajjud, you're doing everything, you are not guaranteed paradise, because you don't know if this action is accepted or not from Allah. You don't know. Yeah, so we should always be on our guard. And I'm not saying to fear Allah, I'm telling you to love Allah. If you read the Quran, I'm giving advice to myself, but you need to learn more about Islam. You need to gain knowledge and contribute to society, and really love your Creator. I want you to love Allah, and at the same time be on guard, fear Allah's punishment, but love Allah more and believe in His mercy, because it's through His mercy and what you believe, what you expect from your Creator, Allah, this is what you'll get. So if you're expecting mercy and rahmah, you will get it, inshallah. So always love Allah, and the more I look into it, Islam, even as a Muslim, I'm reading and I'm seeing hadith, I'm reading a verse from the Quran, I'm saying, subhanallah, Allah is so amazing. He loves us so much. He's so merciful. I love my Creator. So this is what I want you to be like that. I want you to fall in love with Allah and make Allah your number one love in your life. So love Allah more than anything else. And this is what I want for myself as well. I want to fall more and more in love with my Creator, and and make it as if the most intimate of friends. He's my best friend. Okay. And also likewise, and I said about the wife and stuff, precious gift, but also your children are a precious gift. You don't own your children. These are a trust to you as well. Just like a woman is a trust to the man, and the man is a trust to the woman, your children are also a trust, and you should treat your children with respect. If you're being blessed with children, say alhamdulillah, and this is your opportunity. This could be your way to Jannah. If you respect your children, treat them well. And I'm not saying, if you see them, they're going to start a fire, you're going to burn the house down, and you just leave them to burn it, and you say, oh, okay, have fun, burn the house down. No, you correct them, but gently. Okay, they're still children, and if they ask you a question, especially if it's to do with religion or to do about anything else, encourage them to think and encourage them to ask questions. Be patient, give them the time, hold back, drop everything else. Anything else can wait. You don't. If you're in a rush and you have to pay some bills or something, and your child asks you a question, you don't have to pay the bill now. Just put that aside for a moment. Answer your child. Take him, hold him, and explain to him gently what everything is. Who are the why we created. But if he asks you anything, so any question pertaining to religion, just explain to him and give him the true answer. Don't play with the children or try to undermine their intelligence. Children have more brain cells. They are more intelligent than some of the adults that are around today. They're very smart, so you can't just play with them. You can't just tell them the tooth fairy or Father Christmas is going to come down, or this boogeyman is going to come, and if you don't behave, don't give them these kind of silly answers. Immature answers, because they're like in the back of their mind, they're going, daddy or mummy is just, what's he saying? This doesn't make sense. They're not going to say that to you. Yeah, they're not going to disrespect you or tell you something. What kind of a foolish answer did you give me? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up, and it's not. Say they'll say it between themselves, and they'll lose respect for you. So don't let your children lose respect for you, and don't command it by force. Be kind and gentle, and speak in a nice way, and treat your son or your daughter as your best friend, and make them love you and let them see you as not someone that's just in authority, but as a friend, a very close friend. So if they have a problem, or they have an issue, or they're getting bullied at school, you're someone that they can approach, and they can tell you, look, this is what's happening. So you should not force them. So if your son or daughter is refusing to, he's upset for some reason, and they don't want to go to school, or something is wrong, or they you feel like maybe they're faking that they're sick, whatever. Instead of forcing them to do something, try to understand why. Maybe they are being molested or abused in school or whatever, and so maybe they're being bullied. So you have to understand these things. You have to get this signal. Sometimes they're too shy to tell you. You have to discover these things as adults, as a parent, and you need to then investigate and be on the side of your child, not force them, not throw them into the fire, not say, oh, you're ignorant, you don't want education, you're a bad son, you're a bad daughter. Don't insult your children. Don't break them when they're young, because when they grow older, they're going to disrespect you. They're not going to see you as their friend. They're going to always hide things from you. So if you're nice and kind and gentle and stuff like that, but at the same time, do not spoil them. You have to teach your children the right and wrong. You have to teach them the value of money, how things take time. You can't just anytime your son or daughter just says, oh, I want this toy, or I want this candy or sugar or whatever, and you just buy them junk food just because they like it, because they don't know, their children don't know what's good and bad for them. So you have to teach them nicely. If they want something, or they see their friends in school, whatever, they have a particular toy, or they want this particular toy, instead of just going out and just buying it to them and just spoiling them, tell them, actually, this thing, it costs, treat them as if they're equal in age, and say to them, this particular item costs, say, £50, and for us to get this £50, there are certain activities, I have to work, I have to get this, and we have to save up for this particular item. So inshallah, after 2 or 3 months, we can then build up enough funds to get this toy. And believe you me, after those 2-3 months, they might have just lost interest in that particular item. They might be looking after something else, and then they will start understanding, to get this, to raise £50 is going to take time. And this is exactly the lessons in life. You can't be a millionaire overnight. Yeah, you have to have a plan, a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and then start working towards that plan, working that plan. So you're teaching them these basic understanding of how the world works, how money works, how you make money. Okay, you have to do certain activities. If you read this book, then I'll give you X amount of money. If you solve this problem, then you get X amount. So you're teaching them, you have to do something, there's certain activity, and then they'll get some reward for it. They have pocket money, but they have to do certain activities which is beneficial for them. So if they could do this, or you give them simple tasks, it's not going to it's not going to give you anything, but you give them simple tasks which is going to benefit them, and then that way, at the same time, you're teaching them that they have to do something to make money. So either they exchange their time, you create a system, you invest money for something else. So you teach them about investments, so you can teach them about these principles, and you'll invest in this, and then this money will grow, and that kind of stuff. So you teach them the basic lessons in business, basic lessons of investing, and basic lessons of how money is made. And you can teach them these basic things in a nice way, and instead of just going out and buying them junk food, and then obviously they have bad teeth, or they have obesity and all that stuff. So you teach your children what's good and bad in a gentle way. So always have respect for your children, always have respect, if you're a man, for a woman as well. Teach them, treat them gently. And also for the women, you should always also treat their children with respect and be kind to them. I know some mothers are good, but yet some mothers, they don't really understand that, and that's why you get parents that kill their children and stuff. So there's these extremes where they're too good or they're too extreme, and then there's people in the middle. But so you have to treat your children as your best friends, and likewise your wife should be your best friend. You shouldn't be giving the time for someone outside the house and stuff. That is if you have been blessed with a wife, if you have been blessed with children, inshallah. And if you haven't, then it's Allah's will. It's part of the risk as well. It's all predetermined destiny for you, and Allah compensates you in a different way in life. He might compensate you with better health, and or something else. Allah may also give you patience. Inshallah, you do get married. Inshallah, I get married myself. Inshallah, one day I can be a father. But I'm saying to you, if you do have that blessing, it's the best blessing that you can have. It's far better than having all the money in the world, to have a pious wife and children as well, good children. This is the best kind of blessing that anyone can have in this world, because that can also add to your good deeds. If you have a righteous son and a daughter, and they pray for you and they remember you when you're long gone, and they say, oh, I had the best father in the world, I had the best mother in the world, and Allah give them mercy, that will add to your good deeds, and that could also grant you to paradise, and also raise you in paradise. So even if you do attain to go to Jannah, there are so many levels in Jannah, and each level is 100 times better than the level before it, and infinite number better. So imagine you going up in ranks just because of your child who remembers you when you're long gone, and he prays for you and it says, Allah give him mercy, have mercy on my father, have mercy on my mother, and he remembers you in good way, rather than a child can be cursing you when you're dead and saying, oh, I had such a evil father or whatever. You don't want that. They don't say it to you when you're alive, but they might say it to you behind your back. So you need to you don't know what's inside people's hearts, or you've neglected them or whatever, and then eventually they say, oh, I wish I had a father that was with me when I was growing up. I wish I had someone that would listen to me when I had concerns, or I was going through certain hardships and stuff. I wish I had someone I can turn to when I was getting bullied in school and so on. So you don't want that. You want someone that always would respect you, and you also want your wife to remember you also for good things as well. Don't want her to remember that she was beaten and abused and that kind of stuff, and prays and curses you when you're long gone, behind your back, and she can't wait until you're dead, even if you're that kind of stuff. And likewise, you want a good, peaceful, happy family. And the purpose of this video, like I said, I don't want to take it too long, but the purpose of this video is the importance for educating women, and also if a man and a woman are equal. And just to summarize, men are women are equal. Allah created us equal. He will judge us equal. However, we are different. We have different roles and responsibility. So do not misunderstand my words. I'm not saying a woman is inferior or superior to the man. The only way a woman can be superior to a man is through piety, her actions, is her good deeds. That's the only way that she can become superior to the man. And the only way a man could be superior to the woman is in the sight of Allah, is through his actions, his good deeds. Okay, and the Prophet Muhammad, I'll leave you with this. Prophet Muhammad said, the best of you is the best who are to their women. The best of men are the best who are to their women. Which means what? Women is your wife, your sister, your mother. So that's the best man, who's best his woman, his wife. Alright? And also the best of men, or the best of humans, are the best to the whole of mankind. So you have to always strive to be better, strive to serve the community, serve mankind, serve not just man as a mankind is humans, so men and women. Do not misunderstand me and think I'm just saying for men. I'm saying for all humans, all, and who's good also for the creation of Allah. Animals, you have to be kind to the animals. And I gave you an example in previous videos. I was talking about a woman that prays and fasts and does all that stuff, but she was abusing her cat. She locked her cat in a room, and at the end the Prophet ﷺ said that she's going to hellfire. And another woman, she does tahajjud, she does all these deeds and worships Allah, gives zakat, does all these things. So that zakat is charity, and at the end also she was going to hellfire. Why? Because she abused her neighbor, she mistreated other human beings, she mistreated this, and all her good deeds got wiped away and got replaced with bad deeds, and ultimately she had to go to hellfire. Okay, so we need to learn from this. So it's not just about worshipping Allah. It's important to worship and the pillars of Islam and stuff. So it's important to pray and fast and do all that stuff. But 97% of Islam is the dealing of others. It's the other things. It's how we live our life in this world. So that's also important, and we should always look at fulfilling these obligations, so we can take Islam completely and not follow the footsteps of shaitan, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.